There is one factor that determines whether something arduous, stressful, or hard can be a source of growth or a source of pain, suffering, and trauma. That factor is choice. Hard things willingly undertaken form the backbone of our character. Even things unwillingly undertaken, but you've chosen to accept them, can be the thing that gives you a strong character. There's a quote from Helen Keller that says, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened." I would argue that just being subject to hard things doesn't mean that you will be strong of character. In fact, I would go further, that you can't have a strong character and an easy life, but you can have a hard life and a weak character. It boils down to whether you choose to accept it. Look at military service. You have voluntary enlistment or conscription. Joining the military voluntarily conjures images of self-improvement, discipline, achievement, and pride in service. Being conscripted to fight in a war is a traumatic and terrifying prospect. Choice. Look at Sir Adrian Carton de Wiart. He served in the Boer War, the First World War, and the Second World War. He was shot in the face, head, stomach, groin, ankle, leg, hip, and ear. He was also blinded in his left eye, survived 2 plane crashes, tunneled out of a prisoner of war camp, and ripped off his own severely injured fingers when a doctor declined to amputate them. Describing his experiences in the First World War, he wrote, "Frankly, I had enjoyed the war." There is a man who chose violence. He could have chosen not to serve in his second war, the First World War, on medical grounds alone, yet he chose to go and fight in both the First and the Second World Wars. Contrast this to Kurt Vonnegut, who was drafted into World War II, captured at the Battle of the Bulge, and taken to Dresden as a POW. He survived the bombing of Dresden in an underground meat locker and spent weeks digging out bodies out of the rubble. He famously couldn't talk on the subject, and it took him 20 years to write about it through a fiction lens in Slaughterhouse Five, which is rife with anti-war sentiment. Now compare that to Sir Adrian Carton de Wiart's memoirs, which he titled Happy Odyssey. Choice. Turns out that this isn't just philosophy, it's biology. This is replicated in mice studies, minus the firebombing. They separated 2 groups of mice. One was free to run on a wheel whenever they chose to. The other was forced to run on the scientist's schedule, which happened to be the same duration as the other group. The effects on the 2 groups were starkly different. In the autonomous group, they had reduced levels of anxiety and enjoyed the benefits of regular exercise. In the forced group, they had elevated levels of stress, anxiety, and injuries. The voluntary mice thrived. The forced mice were measurably traumatized. Same duration, same wheel. Choice. We cannot control every hard thing in our lives, however. We don't sign up for the death of a loved one like an ultramarathon, but we have elements of choice within our circumstances. We can choose who to be. We can choose to have a strong character. We can choose violence. Choosing your hard gives you an element of control. Choosing to exercise regularly is hard, but it drastically reduces the chance of an uncontrollable illness. Both things are hard, but one is better. Even if you still get sick, hey, you did your best. I know that given the choice, I would choose hard so that hard doesn't choose me. That was my essay on choose violence. It came to me, just been thinking about the effects of choice on your mental health and whether or not something is the greatest achievement of your life and the backbone of your character, or it's this highly traumatic thing that you're a victim of. And I think it boils down to choice. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you have any other thoughts on choice. If you like this, check out my other essay right here. It's on the male biological clock.